Another puzzle with my door lock release system is that the actual relay that pulses open the door requires 12 volts, and the board is either powered by USB 5 volts or a 9 volt adapter. I also found out that if you use a 9 volt adapter, the voltage regulator on the board gets extremely hot. So that's not really a good way to go. So what I did was I purchased a couple of these step down boards. This particular board you can put in, I'm sorry it's out of focus, but you can put the input here up to 25 volts, and then around here you get 12 volts, 5 volts and 3.3 volts. So they do have two rather large voltage regulators. This one is the 5 volt, and the itty bitty one round here is the 3.3 volt. And they're on a relatively small heat sink. You can see the copper in the holes. If I turn it over, you can see more copper acting as a heat sink. But it's not that great. And also, I don't have any of these connectors. So I took one of the boards and modified it. And here we are. First thing you'll notice is I've removed, let me see, I can put the two together. I've removed this little connector, and underneath it is actually the copper pads for a regular plug-in power supply. One very similar to this one here. Let's see if I can get it focused a bit better. The actual Arduino external power supply, just like any other standard plug-in unit. So that was rather nice that I could just remove that connector and plug in a standard wall power supply like plug. So that gives me my power to the unit, and then I only need 5 volts because the Arduino will take care of the 3.3, and I need the 12 volts to power the pulse door release. So what I'll do is, ignoring these two connectors, I'll just go on the back of the board and solder the 5 volts across here and take the 12 volts out here for the door release solenoid. While I was at it, you can see I added a couple of small but hopefully useful heat sinks to the back of the regulators. So the regulators are on this side, and the copper goes all the way through, so it should be a good thermal contact, and hopefully that will assist in any cooling required. I don't know why I bothered putting one on the 3.3 volt one, because I'm not actually using it, but I figured while I was there, for the sake of I think it's what, 8p for these little aluminium or aluminum heat sinks, why not just stick it on. So now I've got to wait for a connector to come in that I can then attach to here, and just use a standard wall transformer at something greater than 12 volts at about 2 amps. Should be sufficient to power the door release solenoid and the whole unit. So, as I keep saying, little steps.